All right, everybody, we're live. Happy Friday. Today is December 19th, and you're hanging out with my community manager, the community built by, for, and managed by community managers. As always, guys, you can chat along with us over on Twitter at our hashtag CMGR Hangout. I know a lot of you are watching right now. Also, feel free to tweet out the video. As new people come into the chat, we found out there's a lot of people who join the Twitter chat have no idea that a live stream's going on as well. So if you love what you're seeing today and you have a great idea for a topic in the future, or you just want to come hang out with us, go to our website at mycmgr.com, click on Participate. There's a form there, you fill it out. Sherry and I get your message, and we'll give you an email and make things happen. This is really your community. It's your ideas that build the show every week. All right, so what do we have today? Well, I'm really excited about today's topic because it's about food, and I love food. And you know, whether you love eating or consider yourselves a full-fledged foodie, I think we can all say that the holidays are definitely a time to enjoy all kinds of awesome food. So what can we learn about foodies as kind of community builders? Well, I think we can learn a lot, and that's what we plan to do today. Food really brings people together, right? Enough said. So we have some exciting foodie leaders of, I guess you could say, foodie communities today. We have Steve Green from Foodie Chats, Carmelo with the vegan food chat, and Power to the Veg, which is a close Facebook community. That's her second time with us. Steve's second time, I believe, with us. And then also just want to welcome Jen, first time with us on the show, and she does support community management. I'll let them tell who and in more details, but want to give shout-outs also over to I think, who's over there? Sarah, right? Sarah Nagel. Shout out to Sarah Nagel for keeping our Twitter side of things going. And with that, let's just roll into the introductions. So, Steve, how you doing, man? Welcome.
I'm good. Welcome, everybody. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Sherry, how are you?
I'm doing good, thanks. I'm Sherry Ruddy, and I co-produce CMGR Hangout here with Brew, as well as lead community and user experience at a company called Rebellion Media.
Hey everybody, it's Patrick Ellen. I am the community manager for CloudLock, a cloud security firm out in Boston, Mass. Loving it. And this is my fifth or sixth time. I'm gunning for Dom's record, FYI.
Awesome. And Jen, hey, how are you?
Hey, I am doing good. Can you guys hear me? Sorry, I don't see
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, sweet. So I am, my name is Jen Chen, currently located in San Francisco, California. It's cold and rainy today, but I feel like if I complain about the weather, all y'all are going to kill me. So just staying nice and warm. I currently run a support community, as previously mentioned. Love, love, love food, so super excited for today.
Hey everybody, my name is Dom Garrett. I am the Chief Social Officer and co-founder for the Gathering app. Just actual real news, as of the end of the year I am no longer working with CET International, and I am 100% onto the app, and I'm excited to be back after a fortnight of not being here, and best of luck, Patrick. 14 is a hard streak to beat, but if anybody can do it, your beautiful face can. As long as it's not Fanzo, because nobody wants to see that dude 15 times in a row.
Hey, Carmelo.
Hey guys, Carmelo Wani here, based in New York City. Do stuff for a company called Moleskin. Outside of work, I am a vegan lifestyle and food blogger. I manage Vegan Food Chat, which is a weekly Twitter chat. I'm part of the admin team for Power to the Veg. Write vegan stuff, all about food. My family's in the food business, so yeah, I don't know why I'm not in it, but that's me.
Excellent. And hey, everybody, I am Brew, Director of Awesome with Be the Change Revolutions, and co-producer and co-host here with Sherry for my community manager. Hey, everyone hanging out over on Twitter, if you could, please not only pay participate in the chat, but also feel free to tweet us questions. We'll bring in some of the best comments as well as any of your questions for the panel, and really make this bridge the gap between the two platforms. So, all right, guys. So the first question, we just had to start this off just plain and simple about food. So what's your favorite holiday food, or recipe if you want to share it and really get into it? But like, what do you like eating around the holidays?
Strufala.
Ooh, what's strufala?
Strufala is actually a Sicilian dessert. It's called, in English, it's honey balls, but I make a vegan version of it, so there's no honey in it. But it's like mini hard fried dough, and you can put like orange zest with it, lemon zest, sprinkles. It's crazy. It's amazing. I do have a recipe which I'll share in a bit too with the Twitter chat.
Sounds delicious.
Can I just say
who else has
everything?
Everything, yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. Well, so,
I'll
so
eat
what-
everything, make everything.
You'll just eat.
Just eat.
There's this old classic recipe that I am incredibly particular with, which it's a Scottish recipe, which seems weird. It's, Scots aren't really known for their cuisine, but you take what amounts to be, you get some wheat and you ferment it for like 20 years in an oak barrel, and then you pour it into a glass with a little bit of water, and it's called scotch, and that's the greatest of all Christmas meals because you're dealing with family, let's be honest. There's family everywhere, there's screaming children, there's presents and annoyance. So, 6 gallons of scotch typically is the greatest Christmas meal you can possibly imagine.
I'm 100% with Patrick. Scotch, or there's this other thing. It's a great recipe. You can take this. It's little and it's green. You take that. You break that down with some barley or some wheat. You can add some water, some other flavoring ingredients, and you let that sit for a while. And that's called beer. And that's also great to have around the holidays.
Man, you guys are just smart-assing it up today.
And what about fermenting grapes? Fermented grapes are really awesome too.
I hear that's great.
Somebody tell me about
my
this beer
community
thing.
manager, Alcoholics Anonymous, Fridays. So I would say one of the I like all the flavors that come around the holidays. From a dessert standpoint, I think about mint or peppermint. And then like what's the spice that they use in just about it's sort of
Nutmeg?
like nutmegs used
And
a lot.
cinnamon.
Cinnamon, cloves.
Cinnamon. Yeah, and cloves, right. So I think for me more of the flavors come to mind when I think about holiday meals. And honestly I love the roasts. You guys, anyone who follows me on Instagram knows that I love my meat.
Specifically bacon, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
bacon.
definitely love everything that comes from the pig, but also the cow too. But yeah, I think I look forward the most around the holidays to having like really good roasts with the families. So.
Yeah, we always have ham with pineapple cooked on it. That's
Or
our main dish.
what you could do is I mix the meat, the bacon, the pig, and dessert, and then make a mean bacon chocolate chip cookie.
Yeah.
That is delicious.
Carmela, what's your main dish since you're vegan?
We actually have a couple of roasts that we will make. So there's like everybody knows tofurkey. There's also this product, this company called Field Roast, and they made this really cool it's made from grains and seitan, which is vital wheat gluten, and they stuff it with cranberries and hazelnut, and it has a phyllo pastry wrapped around it. It's really, really delicious.
I think one of my favorite things when it comes to food is, at least with my family, my mom's side is very Italian, and around the holidays, it's a great chance for people to just sort of get together, and that's where I think the food in the community is fantastic. But that ability that when you are making a roast, there's a lot of hands, there's a lot of people that are in the kitchen, everybody's doing their part, and that whole experience, that's what really I think separates the holidays, at least for the food, is you have people that you haven't seen in a while, and you're all joining in on doing that one thing. You know, that smells. Everybody's like, you know, the wine's flowing, and everybody's having a good time, and they're talking and cooking, and that together. I mean, it's fantastic community.
That's awesome. Steve, what about you? You got any favorite flavors or food during the holidays?
Yeah, sure. Tonight's the fourth night of Hanukkah, so I'm a big latke fan. I have never made my own latkes before, but I've had so many different recipes for latkes. I just tweeted, does anybody have a good latke recipe? Anybody in this room right now have a
Oh, there was a BuzzFeed post the other day, and I'll try to throw it out via Twitter. There was a BuzzFeed post on all these latke recipes. I've never made latkes, but I just looked at that and then I got hungrier and hungrier as I went along.
I don't want to share.
I'm going to do it. This has inspired me. It makes latkes tonight. I'm gonna do it. So stay tuned.
I'm going to share a video with you from these guys called the Vegan Zombie, and they just put out a video with their recipe for potato latkes, which looked really good, and they're really funny. So I'll share that with you guys.
Cool.
Awesome. All right, so let's roll into question number 2 here, which is, which food communities are you involved in? So, love to hear about that. Steve, you want to kick things off?
May 9th, 11 at 8:52 p.m. Eastern Time. I tweeted what's everybody having for dinner tonight with the hashtag Foodie Chats. And here we are, 3.5 years later. So as you all may know, or if you don't know, hashtag Foodie Chats is my community every Monday night. This Monday is our 190th straight Monday, which is crazy. I never thought that was going to happen. So yeah, Foodie. Anybody ever tweeted Foodie Chats before?
I have.
That's cool. Thank you.
No, I love Steve's got an awesome community. And don't you guys do like a second chat or 2 or 3 other chats during the week too?
Well, because as we know, every day is another food holiday. So yeah, we now offer, because Mondays are booked now for a while, we offer special editions. So you know, there's always a food holiday for someone to talk about something on a different day of the week other than Monday.
Nice.
That's fantastic. I love that. Just the ability to tap into something like that. And number one, great job, Steve, on the freaking consistency of that. 190 in a row. That's baller.
Crazy.
And then having all of that other stuff around it. I mean, food is like, I don't know. It's like the first real community. That idea of people like coming together to make that and those meals, and it's literally something that everybody can share together, because whether you're having ramen noodles and you spice it up a little bit, or whether you're making like a 3-course meal for somebody, you know, like there's a story behind all of that, and that's what's really awesome.
Thank you. Thanks so much. And like just real quick, hot off the press, we have our Foodie Chats app and show coming out in Q1 of 2015. So pretty very intense, producing a TV show and creating an app at the same time, but it's very exciting.
Wow, that's awesome. So a TV show and an app. Can't wait to check those out. Camilla, talk about your communities.
Oh, sure. So Vegan Food Chat is a weekly Twitter chat which we do every Wednesday. We actually started, I believe it was March 12th, I think, was our first chat this year. And you know, we talk about food, but we talk about food in its different meanings, so we're not always just sharing recipes, which I kind of like. So we'll talk about like vegan fashion one week, or we'll talk about animal advocacy another. But yeah, it all comes back to food. And we've had a lot of awesome chefs join us, which has been great. For instance, we had Fran Costigan, who's like she's like the chocolate queen, man. She's got a book called Vegan Chocolate. She knows everything about chocolate, and when she joins us, she's just like amazing. And the people that come in our community, they're great people. They're always sharing their recipes. So I'm actually learning new cooking techniques even from some of these guys. So I'm really, really proud about that. And Power to the Veg, being a closed Facebook group, the organizer of it has decided to make it like a safe haven for people so that they're more comfortable sharing about being vegan and the food that they eat without feeling like they're being ridiculed while on social media. So that's also, it's a nice, it's actually a pretty huge group. It's over 3,000 members, but it's a nice group with a nice, comfortable vibe to it.
Awesome. Anybody else belong to any foodie communities?
I was a food writer for, well, food writer, quote unquote, but I used to write for Not for Tourists, and I was the Boston City editor for them, so I pretty much got paid to go eat at a restaurant and then tell people why it was good or bad. And it's actually funny that ramen came up, because the one place that I've been that was like the most breathtaking, fantastic meal was this ramen joint in Boston that we published about and talked about. And there's multiple different little miniature sort of, I would say miniature foodie communities who go to this place because it's such an experience. It's called Yume wo Katare, which means follow your dreams, I think, in Japanese, something like that. And the place is tiny. It's probably about the size of your average cubicle, and it fits about 12 people. And the chef doesn't speak English. He only speaks Japanese. So there's a big sign on the wall behind him that says, I'm paraphrasing, that at some point during your meal, the chef is going to yell this phrase at you. It means, do you want extra garlic and vegetables? Which, who the hell doesn't want extra garlic, obviously? So you say yes or no, and then he puts this giant bowl of delicious amazingness in front of you. And it's the best thing ever. There's only one item on the menu. It's pork ramen. The only options you have are 4 pieces or 6 pieces. It's amazing. So I've been writing for 5 or 6 years about food specifically, and that is still to this day the one that is the absolute pinnacle of all my findings.
I sort of by proxy was a part of a little bit of a food community. Like Patrick, I did a little bit of sort of review writing, but it was for a website called the Awesome Mitten. So if you go to awesomemitten.com, it's basically stuff about the state of Michigan, and how we are the actual mitten, not those people over with Wisconsin that say that they look like a mitten. Michigan is the mitten. But I was the beer pub writer, and so I wasn't paid, but I didn't need to be. I just got to go around to different pubs in the state of Michigan, and one of the really awesome things is I would say probably about 90% of them also have a really, really awesome food menu. Different things, whether it's a place in Grand Rapids like Brewery Vivant that does all French food, get like duck nachos, or places that go the Canadian route with poutine, or they have traditional pub fare. That was always a big part of the articles that I wrote, and that people really took and ran with, because when you're drinking great beer, you want to eat great food too. So it's another community that a lot of people do talk about. That was a lot of fun to write for.
So my interesting take on a foodie type community is one of my neighbors each month throws a open invitation pizza party, and what he does is he makes a couple hundred pizza doughs. Has 2 stones on his grills going for about 6 hours. And anyone can come to the party that hears about it and knows people, and you bring something to drink, and you bring pizza toppings. So he provides not only the crust, but then also like a base sauce and cheese. And what's really awesome is how people really, really, really get into bringing all different types of crazy toppings. And so by the end of the night, you might have like 40 to 50 different toppings, and make all types of different flavor profiles for your pizzas. And it's a community that has been building for about a year, and now friendships have been born out of that community, meaning like people are getting together outside of the pizza party, and like connecting online and things like that. So it's really interesting seeing just from a pure offline perspective how bringing people together over food has built long-lasting friendships and business transactions even, and things like that. And so that's been pretty exciting for me. All right. Let's see. So, do we have any questions yet, Sherry, that have been coming in via Twitter? Nope. Okay. So just a reminder, guys, go ahead and send those questions in. We'll jump into number 3, which is have food communities increased or decreased in popularity in 2014, and why? So, who's got some good insight into this?
They definitely have increased. I think there are more and more food communities growing every day, especially with Meetup.com. I mean, there's so many groups that are just focused on food. I mean, I belong to, I think, like 7 of them at least, and I organize one on my own. So it's definitely growing, and people are learning a lot about food. I mean, thanks to like the Food Network and the Cooking Channel and YouTube. So they want to build these communities, you know, either to cook together, just do potlucks, try different restaurants. So yeah, that number is just going to be increasing over time.
I agree as well, because I think that the push really is that the food movement, let's say, or the foodie movement, is one of those things where we're benefiting by the fact that the majority of people don't still think about things like organic or localvores or vegan, etc., because they're eating the things that the factory farms are producing, and that obviously subsidizes a lot of the smaller farms, the organic places, the farmers markets, etc., from being able to exist, because they can exist because the majority of people don't have to have their food produced by these expensive methods. So these food communities keep growing and growing and growing because people are saying, you know what, this is sort of a niche industry. How do we make sure that we get the best quality? How do we find other people that are going to suggest other things that we should be checking out? How do we find restaurants that people think are great? And I feel like the shift has started to happen with things like Yelp, for instance, is that Yelp's starting to get to a point where people just think the corporate interest is too high, because they do have sort of a conflict of interest in there being a bad review, because if someone's paying them and they're, you know, removing or distorting reviews based on that company's spend with them, then that obviously doesn't give the same impact that people are looking for. So I think that you're going to see, not only is the growth huge, I think you're going to see it more and more as individual regions, individual locations, and individual types of eaters, like a vegan, like a vegetarian, like a meatitarian, like I am, all decide what they're looking for and who they want to speak to about it. Scotch.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing that I think of is when it comes to like the growth of communities, I think, you know, obviously we've all been entrenched in the internet and communities on the internet. That's our job. That's what we do. So we've been doing it for a long time, and it sort of seems second fiddle to us. It's like, yeah, obviously we connect with people doing that kind of stuff. But it's becoming easier and easier for people to find those communities, and for those people running those communities to really get their message out there, so that you do have 190, you know, weekly chats in a row. So you have somebody, I know this is a weird thing, but I think of Hannah Hart, the girl that did My Drunk Kitchen. That's still kind of a foodie community. And in that, she's taken that and has like 1.6 million followers, has put out a recipe, like a cookbook, and created like this community of people that started just really liking food or liking somebody making food while they were drunk, and actually taking that and doing more with it. You know, helping out at food shelters, you know, making these recipes for their families, doing that stuff, taking it to the next level, and connecting more people with it. You know, I've seen a huge growth with that in the last year, and it's like what I said earlier. I think it's just in step with the growth that you have with online communities in general. But this is something that is so universal. Food is so powerful, and everybody has their memories and their culture and everything like that associated to it. It's just tapping that in a way that people want to share it, and giving them the outlet to be able to do that. So I think it's going to keep on growing more than almost any other community you'll have online.
I wanted to bring in a point too from Twitter. Wanda Eby mentioned that food communities are increasing in popularity because people want to eat healthier. And, like, I've definitely seen that really in my group of friends, is that like as we are not really interested in fast food in places where the food makes us feel like crap later, like we've started to experiment more with recipes and hang out more that way versus at junk restaurants.
I think also the American palate is changing. I think it's becoming more refined as people are getting more knowledgeable. So we're seeing some communities that are built around, that refinement, where they want to go to higher quality restaurants. They want to try, higher quality ingredients, be it more local, be it, whatever their niche is, And I think also is that people seem to like the comfort of being able to eat together at a table rather than being all caught up in like daily life and rushing around and maybe just coming home to like an empty house and there's really nothing to eat. They'd rather be with people, sharing a dining experience and feeling comfort in that.
I agree with that. I think that the restaurant industry has seen this huge surge in what I would say is that casual connection dinner where people they're looking to go out, they want to actually have an experience. The price is potentially not that big of an issue for some people. For other people, the quality is more of the issue. So they go to like maybe a dive, like a local Greasy Spoon that has excellent food. I think those two sides of the coin though are making it so that especially the millennials, quote unquote, their generation is very much at that point where it's great to make food at home, and if you want to go through the process of learning and doing some classes or being a chef or anything like that, that's awesome, and they're doing a lot of that. But for them, a restaurant isn't sort of a means to an end. It's an actual destination. It's like, I want to get together with 6 people. I want to talk about food. I want to eat things. I want to go and find a tasting menu and spend a significant amount of money on it. But that's what I choose to do with my disposable income. Maybe I don't have a car. Maybe I have a zip car. Maybe I'm one of those now mobile city dwellers that we all hear about all the time. And I'm going to drop some serious coin on a 12-course tasting menu from an incredibly expensive restaurant. Gotcha.
Just to piggyback on what you're saying, there's an industry that has now been built off of foodie crawls. So there's chocolate crawls, there's, of course, there's pub crawls, which are insane, but, we just had SantaCon out here in New York City, and that was that's always crazy, people fighting in the street, but, there's actually an industry for it. So, if you had a certain taste and you want to explore that taste as far as you can go, there are people charging a good amount of money, and there are people buying to be a part of these food crawls.
What about food trucks? Those keep increasing in popularity.
Yeah, and I've noticed a lot of them too. We have a couple of really awesome farmers markets here in Grand Rapids, and there's like 3 or 4 food trucks that actually park at the farmers market, and they are making food directly with the produce that they buy from that farmers market. Like, they'll go and they'll buy it right in the morning, and then they will turn that into food that they are then selling to people. And that whole experience, people love it. Like, I'll go down and I'll get my vegetables and I'll get stuff for the week, but to just have somebody who has that skill to make that is really awesome. Just to see, it's like, wow, they bought 90% of it from this right here, and now they're making it and I get to eat it and it tastes delicious. Like, that whole like farm to table automatically like that. And then that taps into that idea I think that a lot of people are having now, is that I can do that sort of mentality. Like, before, if you hear about some French cuisine or anything that you go, well, there's no way in hell I can make that because I'm not a chef. I didn't go to school for it. But because of these tutorials, things like YouTube, these blogs, it makes it so it's so much easier, and I have that thought process of, oh, yeah, I could probably do that. And you get 2 things out of that. You get a lot of people trying it, then you get those awesome Pinterest boards with the nailed it, where it looks absolutely nothing like what you tried, but it still, brings that joy to other people. It's like, hey, I tried it, and it looks like crap, but it tastes all right. So, it's awesome. It taps in on so many different things.
Here in California, too, the food truck thing, that's a huge plus. We see there's this thing called Off the Grid, where it's like a group of food trucks that travels from place to place, and it's amazing. You can get first dinner, second dinner, third dinner, fourth dinner, and then you get dessert. So it's awesome because you get to try so many different cuisines, and bringing it into community, they set up like chairs, so you just sit down, get to know people, talk over food while you chow down on this amazing food together.
There's a bunch of food truck villages even. Portland has a couple of them, one in downtown and one up in North Portland, I know definitely. Austin has a food truck village. They're just popping up, and people will go, like as you were saying, Jen, like they'll go from one to the other just to try what they have. Here in New York, the truck that was voted the best food truck is a vegan truck called the Cinnamon Snail, which is amazing. And where they go in Midtown, there are about 20 some odd trucks on a given day. I think 30. I think I saw it the most, where all different kinds of food. If you have a restricted diet, there's a truck for you. If you are craving, something very exotic, there's a truck for that. And it's just amazing to see how the trucks come together and they work together. They'll help each other out. If somebody's low on lettuce, a truck will give it to them for free. It's really pretty awesome. And so they have a community growing right there.
One of the things about food trucks that's been really awesome in Boston is that they've done a really good job of helping the average corporate kind of worker drone eat a hell of a lot healthier than they have in the past. Because there's obviously certain sections of the city that they're not what I would call food deserts, but they're sort of healthy food deserts in that you've got an hour to eat, you got to run outside, your choices are limited. The best thing might be a Chipotle or something like that. So these places have started popping up in a variety of like different farmers markets areas, things like that, where they can go and they can say, hey, listen, we're making completely vegan food. We have chickpea fritters today, that sort of thing, which is what a lot of people are like, you know what, it's probably not a bad idea to eat one meal that's not based completely around meat. There's an amazing banh mi place, like everything you can think of with a huge variety and typically, to almost everybody else's points, really much better, much fresher ingredients than you can get at your average chain.
I know I don't want to turn this into just a food truck chat, but I mean, I love the idea of food trucks because somebody brought it up. I think it was Kate Moffitt on Twitter, on the Twitter chat. She talked about how these food trucks can pair up with restaurants to sort of in breweries because a lot of these places are just little shops. They can't afford rent. You don't want to have a storefront. But if all you have is a truck, you can afford to make enough food to be able to sell that. You can get a little bit more creative with it, which I think is really, really cool. And because that might not be as popular on a menu, 24/7. But if you have it on a food truck and you're selling 50 of them, at a brew fest or outside of a brewery or something like that might not sell food, it's really awesome. So I love food trucks. I'm all about it. If anybody wants to start one, just let me know. We can start a food truck.
Well, there's that. I don't know if that show's still on, but wasn't there like something, the Amazing Food Truck Race or something on the Food Network? That was pretty awesome, and I know they hit different cities across the country, and that really brought a lot of attention to food trucks and the value of them. I mean, because they bring a quality that you won't necessarily get when you're going for fast food, definitely when you're going for fast food, and even just going where your local restaurant may not even be up to snuff, and you're getting some amazing food off of the food truck because they're putting some serious time and effort and patience into what they're doing.
The movie Chef also. Did everybody see that movie Chef? That was an awesome movie.
I've definitely seen, kind of transitioning into question 4 here too, I've seen a lot of like online community formed around chasing food trucks around too. Like there's actually one in my hometown, which is kind of shocking if you know anything about my hometown, but people will literally like get so excited about finding the food truck around town and post photos all over social media because they found it and they're eating there that day. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, we have a food truck in Milwaukee called Streets of Pizza. And in the early days of Foursquare, he'd actually update the Foursquare location. So when the food truck went out, so you had to use social media to even go find where they were each night, which was kind of cool.
There's a Foursquare badge for food trucks.
Yeah, now there is, right? Yeah.
Well, probably not now because they don't use badges anymore, but there was.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I miss those days. I miss those days. Also, there is a hot dog place. It's the best hot dog place in Grand Rapids, and I'll fight anybody over this that thinks that it's the other place. But there's this place called Johnny B's in Grand Rapids. It's absolutely fantastic. And their mayor special, when you had mayors of places, was if you were the mayor, you got to go in and get one free hot dog a day. Now, I happen to live across the street from there, and I swear I was within like 1 or 2 check-ins of being mayor there. It was the worst for my health, but the greatest for my taste buds. So that's a foodie.
As a Midwesterner, have you ever been to Hot Dogs in Chicago?
Yes, I used to live in Chicago, and I will fight. This place is better. It's the best hot dog I've ever had in my life.
Do they have duck fat fries? Because duck fat fries kind of wins the battle for me, flat out.
Talking about French fries, I wanted to mention this earlier. We were talking about foodie pub crawls. My friends had a French Friday. And so they literally went to 5 different places here in Grand Rapids eating nothing but French fries. And the best of which is at a place called Hopcat. They're actually called crack fries. They don't, hide away from that. It's these little peppered fries that are literally like crack. You need to eat an entire basket full. And my goal is to win the crack fry eating contest that they have every year. So I'll keep you guys updated with that.
So I think we can definitely see just from the enthusiasm about people wanting to talk about their favorite foods, and I'll fight you if over this great restaurant and all your favorite food trucks. I think rate what we're seeing right now is probably one of the underlying reasons why foodie communities are growing so much, just because food is something that people can get really passionate about, and especially over what favorites are and what's better, because everyone has different flavor profiles, or is used to different flavors, I should say, and so things taste different to different people, and I just think that something it's really cool to watch everyone getting so passionate about their favorite foods. I'm going to keep us going along here since we only got about 22 minutes left. Rolling into question number 4, which is how can offline relationships form from online food communities or vice versa? So Steve, can you talk to us? Because I know you have your online community, but you do a lot of offline events as well, right?
Yeah, so just a couple days ago, Monday, we were live in Los Angeles in Beverly Hills for the first Foodie Chats in the California area, and it was awesome. I got to meet people like Mayhem Studios, Calvin Lee for the first time. I don't know if he's technically maybe called himself a foodie, but he's a social media influencer and someone who I've been chatting with for a long time. So that's the online building of the relationship that we finally got to meet, and just a bunch of other great people on Monday night. Got to meet Chef Devin, the chef of The Biggest Loser. She came by, and so many more people that I have been chatting with for over 3 years. Pretty much on Twitter alone. That whenever I do a live event, we're going to Dallas next month. Nobody knows that yet, by the way, but we're doing a little Foodie Chats in Dallas next month, and just get to meet the people that I've been chatting with online forever. But then once you meet online and then you meet live, forever, then continue to support, which is a question coming up next. But you support each other so much more, because once you sit down and you share a meal with somebody, you have a drink with somebody, you look them in the eye, you hug them, you just get excited to spend time together for the first time live. Those relationships last forever. Those are true fun relationships. And then it's always my favorite when you get to meet someone for the first time and you're like, oh, you're Foodie Chats, or hey, your brew. Just the excitement that people get. We're like social media people. We're like superheroes when you finally make that bond together. So it's, to me, one of the greatest business professional connections endeavors I think I could ever have is this exact question right here. It's my favorite.
This is why Steve is awesome. I just want to say that.
And for everybody on Twitter that's wondering about what we talk about in the little chat to the side, basically it's nothing but how awesome Steve is all the time today. So
this guy, stop it.
We're seeing how much he could blush. So I hope somebody is having a blushometer.
There you go. I was made in 1974, everybody. My 40th birthday is 1 week from today. 12/26, baby. Turning 40.
Woo! That's exciting.
Oh man. I guess it's a little exciting. I don't know about how it's too exciting. I like the 30s. That was a cool decade. Bye decade. Yikes.
All right on. All right. So let's. Do we have? I think I see a tweet here. I'm gonna bring in. My computer lets me here. I'm gonna bring in this question here for us. Let's see. Oh, that didn't work. Hang on.
Oh, that doesn't work either. That one.
There we go. Present to everyone. So, photos of your food on social, yay or nay? I'm not a fan of seeing people's dinner on Facebook.
I'm a yay because I do it all the time. So I mean that's my Instagram is nothing but food. My my Facebook pages are nothing but food.
Yeah, isn't that why they made Instagram? I mean, I thought like that's how they got the gram part. You know, they were talking about like grams of food.
Grams of fat.
Yeah, I don't know.
Instagram crackers.
I think that's the thing. It's like maybe not on Facebook. I mean, it depends on who you're sharing it to, but it plays into the next question when you're talking about the tools. I mean, people love that. There are huge communities that are literally just on like Instagram and Pinterest, and all they're doing is they're posting food. I follow one. It's called Chow Down Detroit, and literally this guy just goes around and eats food, and he just takes pictures of it. And you know, if you're eating in Detroit, you'll tag that person, and you'll see all of these different things, and it opens you up to, you know, whether it's city by city or cuisine by cuisine, you know, it just opens all that kind of stuff up, and that's freaking awesome. I mean, I know it's like the cliche hipster thing to do to take a picture of your food, but I still do it all the time if I make something, you know, good, or even if I make something that doesn't look special. I made eggs with bacon yesterday on a paper plate, and I sent a picture of it to my girlfriend and wanted to put it up on Instagram because I'm like, you know what, this tastes delicious, and I don't care. This is what I'm making. It's the simplest thing, but it's awesome. So
I've tried to share food pictures and it never looks as good as the food actually looks, and I don't want anyone to think that my food looks like shit, so I don't share them.
Well, I think possibly the real answer behind why people share their food is because people share things they love, right? I mean,
Yep.
you're sharing things that are that you're passionate about, things that are surrounding your life, and so if you're into food and you love eating, of course you're going to be taking lots of pictures of your meals.
Yeah, it's no different than like new parents sharing 47 photos of their child.
Exactly.
So.
That's what I was just gonna say. Like, you could almost say like, gosh, would you just stop posting babies and kittens and
Post some food.
I think people post what they love. So
I have friends that definitely like love cooking, and they take leftovers over to their friends like all the time. Like they cook extra just to take them to them, and like they warned me when I became friends with them on Facebook that that's what their Facebook is what they're making. I was like, that's cool, whatever. That's what you like. That's fine. If it annoys me, I'll just hide you from my feed. No big deal.
Exactly.
I'm very yay on the picture thing because I think the kid or the kitten or the puppy is a good way to compare, because it's like there are people that do not like children. Totally fine. There are people that can't stand cats, and they think people that don't like puppies they're horrible. But there are people that don't like. I have a kid. He's the most adorable goddamn thing that ever lived, and I do not put him on social media because I'm like, no one else wants to see how incredibly adorable my child is and how great my DNA looks. But if someone shares a food picture, absolutely. No one's going to be able to enjoy how cute my kid is via some random social media post. But if I post a picture of an awesome meal that I had, damn right, you're going to go and check that out. You show up at my door to check out my kid, I'm going to be in a really weird mood, just FYI.
And I love that there are brands that tap into that too. Like that, the other day I was talking, I think I saw Applebee's posted something, and I commented back talking about how much I love bacon on burgers. And I know that this gets into another realm when it comes to the communities, but they asked me, they're like, hey, what if we send you a little gift card? You go and get the all-in burger, and then take a picture of yourself eating it. And I'm like, hell yes, I'll do that. I would take a picture of myself eating an Applebee's burger anyway. And now there's somebody that's like, hey, we would like for you to do that. I'm like, yeah, I will. I'll go ahead and do that because I have no problem putting up a picture of a delicious burger with a shit ton of bacon on top of it. So I know if I see that, my mouth automatically starts watering. So at least I get to be on the right side of the camera.
It's like that with ice cream. There's a company out here called DF Mavens, and every once in a while they'll pay you $5 if you just take a photo of a pint of their ice cream. And you don't have to be in it. You just take a photo. So I just opened my freezer, took a photo, and then they sent me $5. I thought that was awesome. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this next time.
That's brilliant. All right, guys, I'm going to roll into our second to last question, which is how have tools like Instagram, Pinterest, Snapchat, and Vine affected food communities? So I think, Sherry, are you kind of this question really kind of assumes food communities have existed before these tools, right?
Yeah, I would assume so. I don't know, Steve, what do you think? This is more your area of expertise.
So I'm writing a little jingle for the TV show, and I'm going to give you one line of the jingle, but it's we eat, tweet, Instagram, and meet with new foodies every day of the week. It's Foodie Chats!
That's awesome.
Is there going to be any beatboxing?
No way, man. Oh yeah, there's gonna be some professional singers. Just imagine 5 singers, guitarists, drums, all that. Oh, I'm just a chanter. Oh man, I love my foodie communities out there. What do you got? Instagram, love it. Pinterest, yes. Snapchat, he gave away all of his secrets from the Sony hack. I guess he's crying instead. You know, Vine's good. They're all good, man. I would be bored without foodie communities. My favorite day of the year is Thanksgiving on social foodie communities. I mean, it is the best day. Everybody just sharing everywhere. It makes it so much more fun. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what more to say about that. Yeah, I mean, all these tools are. I mean, what's going to be the next tool other than the Foodie Chats app? By the way, sorry, shameless plug. I mean, what's the next tool out there?
I'm waiting on Scratch and Sniff. That's what I'm waiting on. No, but it's interesting. There were there's always been supper clubs, that way before the digital age. There were social clubs and supper clubs, and people got together and they had meals together. They tried out different spots in their area. They built communities, around it, and they built the community where they began developing relationships with these restaurant owners and, taking it even further. So having now the social media tools to expand that, it's amazing. I mean, just talk about like YouTube alone. So many great chefs have come up with some brilliant ideas on how to attract their audiences and get them interested in new foods. I'll give you like a couple examples just from the vegan world. And I mentioned the vegan zombie before. They have this whole zombie apocalypse thing happening, which is amazing. Then there's the vegan black metal chef. And this guy does like really simple, like comfort food. He's got a whole getup. He's got like chainmail. He's got an axe. He's got the whole getup, and you connect with him because he's making it fun, and he's wanting you to, take up this way of cooking and eating, and you want to get into that. So I think without social media, these kind of things wouldn't have happened. I certainly would say that veganism wouldn't be getting as much attention as it has gotten without social media and the internet. It's really helped bring vegan food to the plate for people. So I think they're just wonderful and amazing, and I have no problem using them on an hourly basis.
Yeah, I'd say the one thing I really appreciate about food and Instagram is just the hashtag nomenclature and just the ability to discover new things on those hashtags. Because you could see somebody post something and then start drilling down like, oh, well, bacon obviously probably is hashtagged on things not even bacon, but even different flavors I've seen or different spices are hashtagged, and it's always surprising to see little communities form around these hashtags. You know.
It's kind of addicting too. I mean, you look at a hashtag on a picture and then you follow it, and before you know it, like 2 hours have gone by and you're still looking at pictures of bacon. But I think that's what I love about food, you know? You find so much passion behind it, and then you find other people online with passion behind it, and then you just click over that. It's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're gonna roll into our last question. We're right on schedule here, which is we have a tweet just came in. So social media smell-o-vision, says Michael Boyce. That would be like a digital aroma. If someone figures that out, oh man! And you could send a smell along with the images. Could be used for good and evil.
That would be used for evil way more. People would use that for evil immediately. That would be the worst thing. Anyone that lives in the country would be like...
Actually, what might happen is like clickbait, you know, where it's like, oh, a delicious pizza. And you're like, oh, great, I have to click on the smell, like click here to smell. And you click on it, and you're like, oh, dude.
It actually smells like Rick Astley. It's the actual Rick roll.
Nice.
Smells like failure and sadness.
Oh my God.
One other thing, one other thing before you roll in, I was trying to find the actual website, and I'll tweet it out. But there's another cool thing when it comes to sort of the last two questions, taking it offline, and the apps that are out there. There's this new app that was just funded by a investment fund here in Grand Rapids called Start Garden, and it's called Boulder. So you can go to getboldr.com, and basically what it is it's a way for you to be able to tell, number one, how many people like are inside of a restaurant, so you can know where to go, so you don't have to wait in line. But then also like what specials are going on, what kind of your friends are there, what businesses are going on. I know it's Michigan pretty much right now, but they just got a $20,000 investment to spread out throughout the country. But I think that there's going to be more of those types of things that are popping up, where it's going to be, very much in the area of, hey, where can I go to sort of get this all-around food experience, more than just what's on your plate, but what's sitting around you. And I think that that's going to be a really big thing coming up in the next year at least.
Awesome. So let's see here. An Eagle Eye editor says he wants Taste-O-Vision instead, which that'd be pretty badass. All right, guys. Last question is: as community builders, what else can we learn from foodies? So kind of ponder that for our closing remarks here. So what can we learn from foodies as community builders?
Organization is the thing that comes to mind, because if you've ever noticed the phenomenon that goes on with the new hot restaurant, there's typically, like, let's say a 3-week period where you've got new hot restaurant opens and like the family and friends go. There's the dead week where no one knows anything that's going on, and then there's the week that all the food bloggers and the food people and the foodies in the world know something is open and they're going to go check it out, and they go. And they talk about it, and they eat there, and they post, and they update people, and then the crowds sort of descend. And so they have this organizational ability that they're able to check the same way that I read 15 different RSS feeds to see what's going on in my specific industry. They do the same thing with opening and closings. They have lists of people they follow on Twitter, so they have this like informational organizational ability that just rivals almost everything else. And the reward, the sort of like positive feedback system they have with it is that they get something delicious at the end of it, as opposed to the rest of us that potentially get like a thanks very much pat on the shoulder or a bonus check, which could be potentially awesome, but I'll take ramen most times over it. All that put together equals the organizational aspect is just huge.
You also have to add in the getting there first, being like, oh, you were the one that had your finger on the pulse and knew what was going on. Some people really, like in the foodie community, really get off on that. And are like, yeah, this person was the one in the know. He's the one that went there first, got the lowdown, probably got the special invite to go there. So you want to follow that person and be a part of what that person is doing.
Let's do it.
I don't know what you just did there.
Woohoo! There we go.
I think for me, it's all about passion, finding that passion, and then seeding conversation around that in community. Like, you know, in a support community, sometimes there is no passion. And so, like, what I've done in my own community is seed some off-topic boards around Thanksgiving foods or favorite recipes, and then bring some of those users into the support boards and get them engaged. So it's all about passion for me.
I agree completely with you, Jen. You know, like Brew, what you're talking about, I mean, without even realizing it, and I'm not like ingrained every day in foodie communities, but like people are so passionate about what they like, you know. Vegans and vegetarians love that. I talk about bacon. You know, I said that I would fight Patrick over a frickin' hot dog. Now, granted, there are times I just want to fight Patrick because of how good he looks and I'm jealous, but, you know, like that sort of passion that's around that is huge. And what you can do just from an outside looking in is being able to sort of tap into that. That's really awesome. And how to sort of, you know, take that passion and put it in a direction so that, you know, more people can share in that passion. You know, sort of funnel it. And that's what community managers do. You know, we are not the ones that are the most passionate. We take the other people and we sort of filter them in so that the product can be changed in a better way, so that more people can see it. And we're sort of just facilitators in that. So the ability to, you know, I guess I'm double piggybacking. Organizing the passion is what I'm talking about.
You know, in a way, another thing is that you can learn from foodies, like how you can actually bring them all together in times of conflict. Because like if there's infighting in the community, usually like what I've seen is that they're infighting, and then somebody will post a recipe or post a photo of where they just went, and the two people that were arguing are now all of a sudden besties and want to go to this place together. So, in a way, I've learned, you know, what can work in helping, you know, resolve conflicts in dealing with a foodie community. And it's actually kind of surprised me just to see, like, okay, well, we're arguing about, like, an issue concerning the environment, but then I show you a picture of cake and now we're best friends. And it's like it never happened. And it kind of makes you realize, you know, that there are people that they get angry in the community, especially an online community, and they're just venting out whatever other frustration they have, and then they're reminded why they came back to the group.
Don't always use cake, though. I don't know if you remember JD from Scrubs. Cake was always a sign of something bad, not something good. So maybe use other desserts, too.
Okay, that maybe cookies. I'll try that.
Bacon chocolate chip cookies.
Brownies. If you bring me brownies, I'll always be happy.
The way you said that made me think of a very specific type of brownie. Man, if you bring me brownies, man, I just love, I don't know why. I eat them and then I just like space out for like 6 hours. It's really great.
All right, guys, we are out of time. This was an awesome chat. And an awesome hangout. What do we got next week, Sherry? It's the day after Christmas, and what do we got?
Yeah, we're doing community manager reflections next week. So we did this last year, actually, which was just kind of looking back at 2014 and see how it went and kind of talk about 2015 going forward. So.
Very cool. So if any of you guys want to join us, just let us know. We'd love to reflect over the year with you.
Yep, totally. And thanks to Carmela, by the way, for suggesting today's topic. That was her call.
Yeah, awesome.
Hey, Carmela.
Nice work.
That's what a foodie does, right? Happy birthday, Steve.
Yeah, next week, man.
Happy early birthday.
Got it. Bye, everybody. Friday.
Bye. One last thing before we sign off here, Sherry, will you please just quick plug CMAD for everyone and let them know what's coming up?
Yeah, for sure. Community Manager Appreciation Day is coming up January 26, 2015. We're going to do 24 hours of different community manager hangouts. So they're each being organized by different people from different companies with panels. If you go over to cmad.co, you can see most of the actual hangouts are already there on the schedule. If you're planning an event, you can add it to the events tab. And if you want to participate, head over to cmad.co/participate and let us know how you want to get involved.
Awesome. Thank you. And see you next Friday, guys. Happy holidays.
See you, everybody.
Bye.